Hey bestie, it's Bri. Today I finally feel comfortable enough to tell you guys the real reason why I moved back to LA. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know that in October, I think it was October, I left Los Angeles to move to Vegas, and then I was in Vegas for about like 2 or 3 months, and then I ended up coming back to LA. So I haven't felt comfortable to talk about that with you guys on camera. I'm actually gonna go ahead and get into my food because I was taking so many thumbnails. It's starting to get cold, so I want to eat it. That's why I went ahead and ordered Popeyes, because I feel like I'm gonna need some comfort food for this conversation today. Once again, I did not get a straw, so let me take a sip of my strawberry soda. Because for some reason, strawberry soda and Popeyes is just so good together. I don't even know. If I'm getting ready to gain some weight, you bitches already know what you need to do. Go ahead and give that video a thumbs up. Support your girl, because I'm gonna need that motivation when I'm on the treadmill later. The main reason why I didn't want to talk about why I had to move back to LA is because it was just more drama. It was just another situation in my life that didn't make no sense, and I really didn't feel like it was worth coming on here to talk about. I'm just trying to learn from my past and learn from my mistakes. And if I know that there's people that literally watch my channel because they want something bad to happen to me, and in the past I used to broadcast like every single thing that happened in my life, good or bad. After everything that I had gone through, I really didn't feel the urge to rush on my channel and tell you guys my business. I'm not gonna lie. And I honestly feel like I'm making this video because I decided recently that I'm just gonna move out of state, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like making the decision to leave California on my own terms. If you guys want to know why I left LA the first time, I literally made a video about it. I mean, I was very worked up at the time, but now I'm in a totally different space. Now I want to move out of state because that's literally what I feel like is best for me. I've been bouncing around. I've had so many different roommates. I've gone through so many different like seasons in my life, and I feel like I went through all of those seasons because I knew deep down that I was not supposed to be on the West Coast anymore. Like, I knew it. One time my sister told me, like, if God gives you a blessing and you don't take that blessing, God will give that opportunity to somebody else. And then you'll be sitting back and you'll be like, damn, that could have been me. And that stays with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though I don't fuck with my sister, that's something that really stuck with me. When my landlord basically forced me to move out my apartment in 1 week, okay, I had no money saved and I had nowhere to go because I don't fuck with my family. It's really my family don't fuck with me. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, like, where am I gonna go? And if you guys were following me during this time in my life, I was wilding out. Like, girl, I was on live stream, drunk as fuck, blacking out on live stream. I was doing the most. And it's because I was so lost. Like, I had so much pressure. Like, I just felt like once again I'm getting all these opportunities, my channel is finally starting to take off, and I'm being sabotaged again. And I really didn't know how to process it, and my mind was just all over the place. And I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna struggle in LA. Like, I'm not gonna stay in LA and be homeless. That don't make no sense to me. So I told myself I was gonna go to Vegas because a few years back, like 3 years prior to that, God told me to go to Vegas. That's why I told you that quote that my sister gave me, because God told me to go to Vegas 3 years ago, and I'm talking about when I left LA last year. So I don't even think that was where God was for me at the time. Like, my blessing was no longer in Vegas, if you guys can keep up with what I'm saying. I thought that Vegas was gonna be the move for me because, like I said, I didn't have no money saved. Vegas has extended stay hotels. So in Vegas, you can like live in a hotel for like up to a month at like an affordable price. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, when you actually live in Vegas, girl, all I want to say is I would have been mad as hell if I came from my nice apartment in Beverly Hills to that extended stay hotel. I would have been so mad, okay? The strip in Vegas is basically like Hollywood in LA, okay? It's not the vibe at all. A lot of poverty. At this time in my life, I didn't tell nobody what was going on. I did not want anybody nobody to know that I was taking an L that big. Like, what you mean you gotta move in 1 week? I did not want anybody knowing that because nobody was gonna help me. All they was gonna do was gossip. And that's not what I need. I need help or money. I'm carrying all this burden on myself. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm gonna call my grandpa. I'm gonna tell my grandpa that I'm going to Vegas. Because my grandpa, like 3 years ago, when I first thought I was gonna go to Vegas, my grandpa had a whole bunch of friends out there that was like, oh yeah, your granddaughter could stay with me. So when I called my grandpa, I wasn't calling him like, oh, can you help me find somewhere to stay? I was calling him because I made up my mind that I was gonna stay at one of those extended hotels. And I was asking him if he had a friend that could pick me up from like the Greyhound station. Bitch, I'm telling you, I was thugging it. I was going to leave LA, period. Now my grandpa, he started panicking. He started panicking because he's like, you don't know nobody out there? You're just gonna go out there and just thug it out? And I was like, yeah, like nobody's gonna help me, so I have no other option. So my grandpa was like, no, that is completely unacceptable. I'm gonna reach out to my friends and I'm gonna see if I can find you somewhere to stay. So my grandpa reached out to his best friend, and we're just gonna call him Uncle Grandpa, okay? So my grandpa reached out to his best friend, Uncle Grandpa, because Uncle Grandpa lives in a gated community in a city in Vegas called Summerlin. That sounded like an upgrade to me because I went from an extended stay hotel to a mansion in a gated community. I'm like, yes, I would love to go out there, okay? I'm talking to these people on the phone because Uncle Grandpa did not live by himself. And let me tell you something that is so important in this story. I hate when you are down on your luck and people start selling you a fucking dream. When I decided that I was gonna stay with Uncle Grandpa, I didn't know how many other people was living in that house. Basically, I'm just gonna go ahead and get straight to the point so I can make sense. When I moved to Vegas, I thought that I moved into a fucking halfway house. I was so mad at my grandfather because I moved into a mansion where there was like this one guy that was on house arrest because he was pimping underage girls. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? There was like this other guy that lived there that had a job but didn't really have a job. And I guess he was like a recovering alcoholic. Like there were so many other characters that were not mentioned to me. Like the only people that I knew that lived in that mansion was like Uncle Grandpa, my grandpa's other best friend. We're gonna call him Uncle Pastor, okay? So Uncle Grandpa, Uncle Pastor, and Uncle Pastor had a daughter. So I knew that she was living there too. And I knew that we were close in age. So I'm like, all right, bet. Because you guys gotta understand, I have been bounced around. I have moved so much. I wanted to know what the living situation was like. I was asking questions and I was getting lied to. That's just the moral of the story, bitch. They lied to me. They sold me a dream. I was talking to my grandpa's friends on the phone, getting acquainted with them so we could get a better understanding of each other. They're telling me that I'm gonna be sleeping in a king-size bed. Please keep that in mind, bitch. Please keep the king-size bed in mind. So instead of me getting a Greyhound to Vegas, my grandpa handed me over to his best friends and I drove with his best friends to Vegas. I was pissed off that I got to Vegas at like 3 in the morning and saw that the king-size bed didn't even exist. Because when I actually got there, I was fucking sleeping on a couch. I was sleeping on a sofa. It was not a pull-out sofa, okay? I'm only 5'4". I'm not that big. Like, I'm not that tall. I'm not that wide. When I tell you that was the most uncomfortable, outdated ass sofa, I was so mad. Y'all don't understand. I was so mad the first night that I actually got to Vegas. I was excited to start my life over in Vegas. I felt like I needed to literally get away. I was looking forward to getting a breath of fresh air, getting peace of mind, because I really needed that. And I really just needed time to focus on my channel and nurture my channel. And unfortunately in Vegas, I did not get that. The first night that I was there and I slept on that hard ass, vintage ass couch, I had a literal night terror. And I never have night terrors. If I had night terrors, you bitches would be the first to know, because I tell y'all all my business. I never had a nightmare so intense that I was literally screaming in my dream. I have never had no dream like that, ever. And the first night, I was like, okay, you know, maybe it's the windows. Maybe you're not getting natural light and that's just like freaking you out. It was a windowless room. They had me sleeping on a couch with a sheet in a windowless room, bitch. It was a nursery. And I was thinking to myself, who the fuck leaves their baby in a windowless room? Like, that in itself is literally psychotic. Somebody moved out, because remember I said it was giving halfway house vibes. So somebody moved out downstairs, and then I was able to take over that room. Now here's the thing, when I was sleeping downstairs in that other room, I was still having night terrors. I'm just gonna be honest, bitch. I felt like that house was haunted because I could not find no peace. And I didn't know these people from nowhere. These people ain't never did nothing to me, okay? And I know I'm spiritual and everything, and that is why I was even more concerned. I'm like, yo, I came here for a fresh start, and now a bitch is having intense nightmares. There was like a closet in my room where the energy was like so negative, I would literally have to keep the door closed. Like if it was nighttime, before I went to bed, I would literally go close the closet door because the energy was just so nasty. And I would always ask Uncle Pastor's daughter, because she was the only other woman in the house. I would be like, bitch, you don't feel the energy? She was like, girl, I just don't like talking about it because before you moved in here, I been started closing my closet. She told me she was going through the same thing. She was just ignoring it. And I'm like extremely sensitive to energy. That was like the first thing that really was rubbing me the wrong way. Like, damn, I cannot sleep. I literally had to start buying like melatonin. I had to start getting sleep supplements because the night terrors was fucking intense every single night. I am not lying to y'all. I'm making this video and I'm uploading so much because, bitch, I need to get my shit together and I don't want to do it in LA. I'm using this story and I'm using this video as inspiration to keep my eyes on the prize. Like, bitch, remember when you were sleeping on that couch in that room that didn't even have no windows? And literally, you guys, as I'm telling you this story, it's just reinforcing that I need to move. I need to get my own apartment. I don't want any more roommates, and I really don't want people taking advantage of me. I don't want anybody else taking advantage of the fact that I'm down on my luck, that I'm desperate, that I need somewhere to live, because I'm too pretty for that shit. And people will really take advantage of me, okay? And let me tell you guys why I'm saying that. When I went to Vegas, clearly I was broke. My grandpa's best friend, Uncle Pastor, the whole ride to Vegas, this guy is like, oh, I know you've been through stressful events. I know it's been one thing after another. You can have a whole month off. You can focus on your channel. The Uncle Pastor and the Uncle Grandpa that I was talking to on the phone before I went to Vegas, that I was driving with on the way to Vegas, they were totally different people than the Uncle Pastor and the Uncle Grandpa that I had to deal with every single day. I was not shown the empathy that I was promised. When somebody wakes up the next day after their first night in your house, calling them an alcoholic and telling them that they need to do AA meetings is really not the best good morning. I know you used to be a dancer. I mean, he was strung up on that stripper shit. Like, Uncle Pastor made it seem like I went to the strip club because I thought that shit was cute. I went to the strip club because I had bills to pay. That was just like a repetitive talking point while I was living in Vegas, while I was living in that house. Oh, you was a stripper. Oh, you're from the hood. Oh, I know you've had a hard life. Yes. All those things are true, but I just don't fuck with you. Like, my life and my past and everything that I've gone through has nothing to do with how much I fuck with you, and I don't fuck with you. You follow me? Let's keep going. Those people did not fucking let me have peace of mind. I couldn't have a drink. I couldn't smoke because Uncle Pastor want to be a fake ass pastor. Let me tell you why I'm calling him a fake ass pastor. You're supposed to be my grandpa's best friend and you're extorting his granddaughter for money. Like, I wasn't even in the house for 2 weeks and this man was like, because first of all, he was charging me $500 a month for a room in a mansion that was decorated like it was a Chuck E. Cheese in the 1990s. And I'm not even gonna sit up here and play with y'all. That whole house needs to be renovated. If you go into that gated community, the mansion that I was staying in was the only mansion, I don't even want to say on the block, it was the only mansion in the community that did not have grass on the front lawn. We had rocks. I was only staying there for like 2 weeks before Uncle Pastor started badgering me and harassing me for the rent money. You can have a whole month off. You can focus on your channel. I kind of like to play stupid to see how far people will go. But then he started to ask me over and over and over when I was going to have the rent. And I specifically told him the date that my YouTube check was going to come. So I really didn't understand why he was still asking me when he was going to get money. And that's why Uncle Pastor is a fake ass pastor. You don't have the gift of discernment. You don't have the spirit of God upon you to tell you, hey, give her a break. She trying. Hey, she being honest. He didn't even have the Holy Spirit on him because he kept asking. So I've only been living here for 2 weeks. I already feel pressure to go find a job. Okay, so I'm editing this story and I'm actually thinking about it. Like, 2 weeks is literally 14 days. So imagine how many times he was asking me for the fucking rent money in the span of 14 days, bitch. So yeah, I started to pay attention to how Uncle Pastor was moving. And then it gets worse, right? Uncle Pastor had minions. If Uncle Pastor did not want to come harass me directly for the rent, he would just send somebody else. And I was just like, what the fuck is the dynamic here? Girl, I would be at work at like 9:30 in the morning, getting stupid ass text messages talking about how he doesn't like how I'm taking advantage of him and I need to just pay the rent or leave. I would tell Uncle Pastor, I don't have the money. I just got a job. When you first get a job, it takes them like 3 weeks to pay you. Everybody knows that. The fact that I had to keep explaining like, hey, they're processing my first check. The fact that I even had to explain that really starting to get under my skin. Uncle Pastor and Uncle Grandpa decided to go behind my back and call my actual grandfather and ask my actual grandfather for the rent money. And they really made it seem like I was ditching and dodging paying my bills when I was working overtime so I could be able to give this man his $500 every single month. And honestly, towards the end, it just got to the point where I was like, he's trying to finesse me. The only reason Uncle Pastor and Uncle Grandpa let me come stay in that out of style, outdated ass mansion was because they wanted to take advantage of me financially, and the writing was all over the walls. It was so fucking clear to me. When I started to talk to Uncle Pastor's daughter, she was basically telling me like it's impossible for her to save up her little checks from work and pay him rent and save up for a car. She's being taken advantage of too. And I just felt like I saw exactly what was going on in that house and I refused to be a part of it. I'm not about to work my ass off to give somebody $500 for a room and this person don't care if I even eat. Everything had to be under his watch, under his control. It was like he was a prison guard. I don't want to live in a dynamic where it's like 1 minute everybody's happy and laughing, but if Uncle Pastor comes around, the same person you was laughing with is gonna be snitching on you. You know what I love about myself? I'm gonna film a mukbang, but when I get full, I'm going to stop eating. Like, I'm not about to sit up here and stuff myself for your entertainment, bitch. I don't think so. If I had to tell you the exact reason why I had to leave Vegas, it's honestly because I was wearing a crop top. I had made up my mind that I wasn't going to pay rent, that I was gonna focus on saving my money, because when I was working really hard to give Uncle Pastor his money, he treated me the same way as when I didn't want to give him his money. So it really didn't make a difference. I don't know. I felt like I was a prisoner. I felt like I was doing time in that house. It just didn't really make sense to me to be paying $500 and then I'm being punished. Like, you guys are calling my grandfather and telling my grandfather that I don't want to pay bills, but you guys are going on trips and then you guys are not buying food. Like, you're not holding up your end of the bargain, so I have to end up paying for Ubers. I have to end up buying myself food. You get what I'm saying? So I just got tired of being taken advantage of and being mind fucked. And the thing about the crop top was, ever since I got there, he basically tried to say that, you know, the way that I dressed was inappropriate and there was a whole bunch of men in the house. Basically, I would make the men in the house uncomfortable by showing my stomach, by wearing crop tops. Uncle Pastor, literally, like, I don't know what the fuck his beef was with me. He hated the way that I dressed. He hated the way that I spoke. He just, like, was always trying to change everything about me. One day I was going into the kitchen. Uncle Pastor was talking to his daughter. So his daughter was already in the kitchen and I said hi to her. I said hi to everybody, but I was wearing a crop top. If I'm not mistaken, as soon as I came in the kitchen, Uncle Pastor basically tried to throw shade at me. And this was the second time that Uncle Pastor had to ask my grandfather for money because I made up my mind I wasn't gonna pay him. My grandpa worked out pretty much a payment arrangement with Uncle Pastor. And he was like, okay, you know, you asking for a lot. My granddaughter is working 2 different jobs. She definitely can't afford it, but how about she give you $250 every 2 weeks? So my grandpa gave his friend money, and he worked out an agreement where he would get his rent. And then I come in the kitchen, this man is talking shit to me. Honestly, I couldn't keep it in. I was like, oh yeah, baby, I'm on your ass today. I don't care how old you are, I'm on your ass. And I guess he did that because he thought that I didn't know about the conversation and the arrangement that he just made with my grandfather. So that was just like another level of disrespect to me. You're not just fake to me, you fake to my grandpa too. Because how could you take his money and then literally not even 48 hours later, not even 24 hours later, like 12 hours later, you gonna kick me out the house? Because that's what happened. Like when I went in the kitchen, I was telling Uncle Grandpa's daughter, I'm like, girl, let's go to Chipotle. Let's go outside. We outside. She was asking her dad for money, which makes sense. I mean, everybody asked their dad for money. Nobody expected her dad to start talking shit about me right in my face.
I would be able to buy you Chipotle if some people knew how to pay their rent. Some people, they like to go around acting like they don't have bills to pay, like they could just do whatever they want. I can't do that because when I try to do that, I have daughters that ask me for food, and now I can't buy you Chipotle because certain people don't like to pay their bills.
And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, he was clearly talking about me in my face. I wasn't gonna let him get away with that in my face. I was not gonna let him play in my face like that. Like, you're not gonna talk shit to me and then tell me, oh, and then by the way, that's not dress code. Fuck you and your dress code. We started going back and forth, and he told me I gotta leave. He was like, you know what? You can pack your stuff. You can go. He was like, give me your grandfather's number. I was like, so you're best friends with my grandpa? You don't even know his number? Don't worry. I'm not gonna give you the number. I'll call him myself. And I went and I called my grandpa on the phone so all 3 of us could hear what he had to say. You're not about to get on the phone for like the 3rd, 4th, 5th time with my grandfather and make up some fake ass story about why you're kicking me out the day after you took money from him. No, if you're gonna lie in my face. I want to see you lie on me because I'm gonna shut that shit down right there. And do you think that he did that? No, he didn't. When he got on the phone, this is exactly how the conversation went. Brianna can't live here anymore. It's just too much, too disrespectful. It's just not a good match. I think it's better for her to go somewhere else. That's all he said. And I'm okay with that. Because who in their right mind is gonna say, yeah, I know you paid me yesterday, but I'm gonna kick your granddaughter out because I tried to bully her and she defended herself. And then when she defended herself, it bruised my ego. So I told her to go change her shirt and she didn't want to change her shirt. So I told her to leave. That's the real reason why I ended up coming back to LA. And then look, here's the gag. So after Uncle Pastor kicks me out, I had to stay in Vegas for 2 weeks because my grandpa was gonna come to Vegas anyway for a funeral. So I was gonna ride back to LA with my grandpa. I'm still going to work, you know, I'm saving up my money. I'm excited because I get to go back home or whatever. And people in the house start telling me that Uncle Pastor wants me to pay $275 for the 2 weeks that I was still staying in the room. When I tell you, like, I left Vegas because my grandpa's so-called best friends, they had me all the way fucked up. They did. I've been through too much shit. I'm not about to let any more old people stress me out. I don't know what it is with like people that are supposed to put me in a position, people that are supposed to uplift me, promote me, and guide me, trying to tear me down, hold me back, distract me, fuck me up financially. I don't know what it is about me and old people, but they just do not like my ass, okay? Honestly, I think it's because I'm a free spirit. Like, you can't tell me what to do, how to dress, how to think. Like, I got that covered. That's why I have a brain. I don't need nobody to think for me. I feel like this video was low-key a fail because I got full as fuck. I wasn't expecting to tell you guys the whole story. I thought I was just gonna get straight to the point. But I feel like it was important for me to tell you guys the whole story. I honestly ended up throwing my food away. I just got so full. With that being said, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being with me on this journey. And I will see you in the next video. Till next time.